Hello again. Welcome to the middle of October, and we got a new Halloween film about to come out. So I figure, why not react to the Cinema Snob's latest episode on Halloween Kills. It's been a few years since he looked at the Michael Myers Halloween films. He did a redo review of Halloween 3 a few years ago, which was pretty fun, but Halloween 2018, that was a movie that was a surprising hit, and I actually really liked. I thought it was the best Halloween sequel the franchise had had since Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Halloween Kills, on the other hand, as I mentioned in my previous trailer reaction to Halloween Ends, was the worst sequel in this franchise I had seen since Halloween 5. And I'm really interested to see how Brad covers this one, because I remember he did his Fresh Thoughts review of it last year, and he actually thought pretty positively of it, so I'm interested to see how he goes at this, if he's going to go full snob, rip it through, if he's going to give a surprising positive review. For me personally, Halloween Kills was so bad that the thought of watching genital mutilation honestly sounds more appealing. I'll get into more about why I think that after we watch this review, so without further ado, let's get into it.
And now here we are at Halloween Kills, which is the 12th Halloween film, but don't think that it'll be hard to follow. It's very easy to follow the timeline here. For instance, after this Halloween 2, there's also this Halloween 2, and then in 2018, we got this Halloween 2. And now after Halloween 3, kinda, and this Halloween 3, and this Halloween 3, we arrive here
this series
at
is a
Halloween
clusterfuck to follow.
another Halloween 3. And yes, there are silver shamrock masks in it. After the success of 2018 Halloween, which only kept John Carpenter's 1978 classic in the continuity, it seemed pretty clear that there needed to be a trilogy out of this particular storyline.
Because they couldn't just let Well Enough alone.
Back to back with Halloween Ends. That didn't happen due to scheduling, but hey, we still get Halloween Ends 1 year after the release of Halloween Kills, which did have its release date pushed back due to COVID. Finally, something that stops, or at least delayed Michael a little bit. Halloween Kills picks up directly where Halloween 2018 left off, and features more returning characters, speeches, referencing the first one a lot, taglines, and yuck comedy. The movie had very mixed reviews from critics and audiences upon release, but as long as it isn't about a reality show inside of the Myers house,
I'd actually prefer rewatching that one over this.
Surely gonna take some risks. For instance, obviously Pennywise will be in it. There's David Arnold returning as Cameron, and yes, I did have to look it up to remember his character's name. He is devastated by being the dick boyfriend.
Surprised he didn't die in the first one.
If he's sorry, though, that means he's gonna die in this one. Plus, Oscar returns as a dead body. I guess Deputy Hawkins was injured in the previous, or he just passed out drunk again. And just
I was shocked this motherfucker lived.
Doesn't mean you can't provide a flashback to Halloween night 1978. See, it's that kind of thing that's gonna get drunk trick-or-treaters killed. Here, young Hawkins is played by Thomas Mann, and they need some catching up.
Loomis said he shot him multiple times in the chest. I saw from 50 yards away, he crossed right here.
Dr. Loomis can tell you himself that he specifically shot him 6 times. And another backstory, too.
I used to know the guy. Michael just killed his sister when he was 6 years old. Yeah.
It's gonna do that a lot, isn't it? However, someone is gonna get their comeuppance in this flashback.
Lonnie, weird and scrawny.
Yeah, it was weird that they humanized the bully from the first one.
After Loomis made him shit his pants. I focused so much on Ben Tramer coming back, I never thought that it would also be nice to focus on Lonnie some more. And they do a good job of reconstructing the Myers house, since the real Myers house is now owned by an insurance agency run by people who hate how famous it is. Sounds like it's your fault for buying it.
Interesting.
This movie is perfect for the person who left the original and said, "Aw man, why didn't they show the dead dog that Michael ate? They should be safe looking through his house, unless..."
Hadn't feeling.
This intro went on way too long.
unless you say something ironic that will instantly trigger a Michael Myers attack. He is in safe hands, though.
Good
By him,
God.
I mean Michael. I also like what they do with Loomis here, even though...
What happened? Tell me what happened. Did Michael kill again?
I never thought I'd say this, but this may be the most theatrical I've seen Loomis. Loomis is played by the construction coordinator, Tom Jones, who they added some makeup to, though now I want to
That
see
is uncanny.
this Tom Jones as Loomis. It all works out for the best in this
I
one.
expected that.
Rampaging through the hospital in 78. Here they just wait for him to tire himself out, and then he'll easily turn himself in. He's been shot 6 times. He knows how much it hurts. The end. This is one of those sequels where it's the previous movie, but more. And I mean more pumpkins for the credits. It's the 12th film, so make sure there's 12 of them. Things
Good
could be
visual.
worse. You could be stuck at an open mic night. And yes, there's a couple of new characters here, but even the movie is more interested in the other table with the characters from the original film.
Yeah. Bring it down a tad. My wife and I were trying to watch the talent show.
No one has ever
And you're
said
out of the
that
bar,
ever.
asshole.
And there's even more exposition.
They afraid of that crazy lady that almost got killed by Michael Myers.
The hell? Even the bartender is giving the backstory? One of the best parts, though, Robert Longstreet as the adult Lonnie. Tommy here is played by Anthony Michael Hall, after they did approach Paul Rudd about reprising the role. But it is always great seeing Anthony Michael Hall.
Because he prefers
back.
Ant-Man.
And it's good he addresses the crowd about the backstory, so they can stop bothering the bartender.
Any of you know the story of the Haddonfield boogeyman?
Yes, it's all
I
anyone
expect
ever
they
talks
all
about.
would.
There are some returning actors too, like Kyle Richards as Lindsay.
That was nice to have her back.
Lindsay is probably partying somewhere. And there's Nancy Stevens as Marion Chambers. She's dead in this timeline. This one gives flashbacks.
H2O handled her better.
This makes me more confused. This shot is from Halloween 2, so this scene is in continuity, but this one isn't. Meanwhile, alright, Laurie is in this. You may be saying that a lot. As far out as this scene may be, it's still a documentary compared to how this would happen on 911 Lone Star. There are things that he does well. For instance, Michael Myers is pretty intimidating in it. They do know how to film him fairly scary, and right away they up the ante on the death scenes in the spirit of Halloween 2.
That is a wonderfully
I can't
brutal
get pissed
scene.
about all the kills in a movie called Halloween Kills. And this hospital is much better than the one in Halloween 2. This one has people in it. And it's got Brackett as the security guard. He would do something dumb like get a hammer to the head. Karen is very sad about the death of her husband. But no matter, they
We
won't
aren't.
leave any comic relief stone unturned. Let's take a break so we can come back with more comedy. Do you need a refresher on the first Halloween? This Halloween parody in 5 minutes should do the trick. Head on over to Hack the Movies and
Oh, yeah.
check out this short. Plus, I know that
Brad
movie
collaborates
like
with them a
Operator.
lot.
In this Halloween, comedy lives tonight. We are back, and are you ready to laugh? Oh, wait, that's not funny. Ah, there we go. It's like the older couple at the beginning of Halloween 2, only if they had witty Bob Hart's Abishola banter and played around with a drone and did super poorly at it. And even when Michael does show up,
It's a big fella on a platform, and he's wearing a monster mask.
am I supposed to be scared or laughing? Oh, Lenny Clark, even when being murdered, you're still hilarious. Though it's got one of my pet peeves, where the person just stands there and patiently waits for Michael to kill them. Sure, I could run. We spent a lot of
Very
money on
Universal
special
Mummy-esque.
effects. Gotta put them to good use. And do you mind? I'm trying to watch the talent show. Ah, great. What? They de-aged Walter the puppet? Shit gets real. Cameron is Lonnie's son, and he has to go get him after having 13 more drinks.
I've been having the bar about 50 years.
You started with your granddaddy, right?
Yeah, my grandpa started the business.
And backstory of the bartender. It's worse than we think. They found Steve, the pizza shop manager's head from Terrifier. Art the clown is also running the streets. But
That's a
there's
cool-looking
one
movie.
switch here that cuts to the chase.
His name is Michael Myers. Go get him.
What? What's that? Richard Kimball, you say? Okay, I'll go get him, I guess.
Maybe they should leave the exposition to the news.
A eerie reminder of events this community has spent decades trying to forget.
Have they really? Though I think my favorite cameo is that when they show Bob's yearbook photo, it's a picture of Bob Odenkirk. I didn't
Random.
know Field was so close to Naperville. These characters pick things up quick. After realizing they're in a slasher, they do all the right things, like forgetting something at the bar and having to go back and get it. But everyone talks about the town motto.
Still not gonna save their black asses from the slasher cliches.
Lives today. We could just let him tire himself out. He just wants to cruise around and listen to his music. He'll turn himself in eventually. Maybe the other escaped mental patient will do the same.
Completely forgot about this guy.
He's done jerking off in the trees.
Also, no, they don't turn the Myers house into a reality show. Instead, it's a sitcom starring Big John and Little John. Carnosaur
Yeah, this
2
was the
farce of
weirdest
the
subplot of the movie.
horror sequel. Thank you very much. And like every Halloween sitcom episode, there's always pranks. In this case, someone pretends to have swallowed a razor blade. Whatever, Halloween 2 would have done that for real. And without the backstory.
Do you have any idea whose house this was?
Yes, I do. Meanwhile, Laurie, on second thought, her time in this hospital isn't as good. She doesn't have Lance Guest here to bring her a Coke. Also, that Halloween 2 saved the backstory for the last act.
I was always told that I couldn't talk about Michael.
Doesn't matter. Everyone else in this town talks about Michael, although I still have questions.
Michael Myers is alive.
Am I supposed to be laughing?
That was
There's
weird
some
line
silliness
read.
here. Like, oh, come on, Mom. We just want to join a vigilante mob to hunt down Michael Myers. What's the worst that could happen? The Cuckoo Patrol has been missing for years. We need someone to bring justice to this town. Thankfully, Mom shuts her down. Here, keep yourself busy with some flashbacks.
We didn't need a flashback for that.
Oh, that Halloween 2018.
There's good ideas in this. I like seeing the town unfolding into mob justice, kind of like an entire movie made out of the redneck mob from the end of Halloween 4. And I really like Lonnie in it. I think the Halloween 4 mob was a little smarter, though. In this one, it's like, yeah, bring the kids, give them a shotgun, and make sure they say an applause line.
Tonight we hunt him down.
Not bad, but that's too long for the poster.
Not only does this movie describe the previous movie,
Man, I had an altercation with Myers about an hour ago, but he escaped.
It also describes this one, too. But the biggest threat in this town, the bratty kids.
You gonna kill me? Satan, not today.
Oh, I'm so scared.
This is exactly why Kyle Cochran made those masks. Really, Kyle Richards is very good in this, too. Sadly, though, it doesn't matter what
She had
timeline
potential.
Marion Chambers is in. She's gonna die at some point. Joseph
Her
Gordon
death in
Levitt's
H2O had
probably
more
safe.
dignity.
This movie has a lot of problems, for sure, but
Yeah.
then something like that happened, and I get a genuine laugh.
It is
They know how to
funny,
slow him down a little bit.
but
Just
so
try to take
dumb.
His mask off. He doesn't want it ripped. That thing is vintage. And just saying, I can kind of get behind Real Housewives of Haddonfield way more than the Myers House sitcom. I do like this sequence where you have James Jude Courtney playing Michael, but they have the original shape, Nick Castle, doing the breathing sound effects. But meanwhile,
I like that they
Laurie-
bring him back.
You got a knife in your fucking stomach.
I mean, she is right. She has had worse injuries, at least in that timeline. And there's more backstory too, but this one involves Lonnie, so it's okay.
I remember once we were out on Lake Cherokee in this canoe with a shaman from Little Rock.
Alright, I really want to see that flashback. Their hunt for more vintage masks continues. It makes their investigation tough, though. Those are silver shamrock masks.
Give them
They
props
could
for having the
have
balls to kill
this,
kids.
Or they could have been watching the wrong commercial on a portable TV. And I can't get mad at this particular Laurie scene, when she and Frank talk about a time when they kissed and held hands, and then the most important thing in this series of movies happens.
But I knew Lou's sweet friend, Ben Tramer.
Brad loves Ben Tramer.
Cut the music. They merely just mentioned him. You gotta show him for there to be a full celebration.
You won't be satisfied ever, will ya?
You know, when we were kids, we used to all dare each other to sneak into the old Myers house.
I know! While the hospital may be more busy in this one, I believe that somewhere in all of this chaos, this universe's Bud is still trying to get so laid.
Horny old man.
Everyone in here with a sprained ankle. We've come up with a catchphrase that we will continue to say repeatedly.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
I know I should stop all of this, but they do have a slogan now.
Evil dies tonight! God damn it!
And legacy characters are saying it, so now we have to let the mob do their thing. And to catch up Lori.
It was 4 years ago when I was a kid. You protected me.
I know that, and she knows that. While Lori doesn't have much to do in this one, damn, Jamie Lee Curtis is still great in it. This is getting serious.
I love her.
So what's
She
happening
deserves
in
so much
Myers'
better.
house?
Don't you know whose house this was?
We don't want to get sued.
Plus, someone sneaking in the house and leaving a bloody handprint can only mean one thing.
Someone's in our house.
You think?
Jokes. Sure, we could run, but never mind. We got a badass action pose and a tiny knife. We got this. This is getting a little dumb, but not as dumb as what happens next. Again, there are really good ideas here, where the town has become just as bloodthirsty as Michael, to where they see someone who is innocent and they think it's him. Except while we don't know what Michael looks like, they know what he looks like, and as obsessed as they are with him, I'm sure they've known how he's aged too. Even this mental patient himself was also on the news.
And he doesn't physically resemble him at all.
We gotta let them do their thing. These two have no excuse. Oh, the tiny knife didn't work against Michael.
Stab him in the
As soon as
armpit.
we see him help Michael kill him, I'll run in the direction of the sound of someone being murdered, and then just stand there and wait to be killed. The Myers house will not be renewed for a second season. Only this guy is smart enough to run his ass off. I'd buy it more if they thought this guy was an old grizzled Loomis who's been alive this whole time. He'll be kept safe from the zombie-like mob, but sadly, he's no match for the fact that Evil Dies Tonight is spoken 29 times in the film. I'm surprised it wasn't more. That's enough for him to leap out the window. Huh. On second thought, he's a completely different body type than Michael.
Yeah.
He's stupid.
They don't make a big enough deal out of
He's
this.
always worn a mask. How do we know it's not him?
He's on the news. He didn't have a mask in court or in the hospital. They didn't really blur out the news report. Let's take another break while they get their other flashbacks straight. And if you need a little more Ben Tramer in your life, we have opened back up our store where you can get yourself this sweet Ben Tramer being saved by a stoplight painting that I did. It's really, really stupid. And it will look great on your wall because in this household, art dies tonight. Click on the link in the
Stupid art is the
description.
best
You
kind of
will need
art.
dental records to identify this piece. We are back. Now that we're done with this flashback, get ready, because here's a clip from the 2018 one, and then we're right back to another shot from the flashback in this movie. I'm not entirely sure this movie needs to be an hour and 45 minutes long. At least
Agreed.
someone's kind of smart in this.
Tommy, you took my daughter to chase a killer, and an innocent man is dead.
Look, if something happens to your daughter, we
One
can't
time I agree with Karen.
I know how. I am still down with the Lonnie plotline, even though, yeah, it's silly, but goddamn Robert Longstreet is cool in it. So of course my saying that means they go inside and Lonnie is dead. Damn it! And hey, do you mind not killing Cameron right now? I'm still mourning Lonnie, even if this is a pretty good death scene. And you could actually kill
Deaths are
him
good.
instead of taking his mask, which he is very protective of, you big bullies.
I'm an innocent woman, just like your sister was. It was Halloween night. She was in her bedroom.
I know, and he knows. Here's where the movie straight up gets weird, where she lured him into a trap. You know, maybe if you led the mob directly to the house instead of this trap, you could have saved a couple of people, and your daughter wouldn't have been in as much danger.
It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled.
Just shoot him.
But hey, then you couldn't have said that line from the first one. No going back again to what I said before, I like where their head's at, with the town having enough and beating the shit out of them. As silly as it is, it's doing this kind of thing better than Texas Chainsaw 3D did, but this is still just weird. They got Laurie speechifying about Michael again, or even Loomis would say, okay, this is too many speeches. And then it becomes shot like a completely different movie, where random people and legacy characters left and right get killed, and it's like a whole sequence
Waste
shot
of bringing
like
them back.
psychedelic film, or video game inserts if you picked this character in a fighting game. He could even teleport like never before, where he's suddenly back in the house, which was surrounded by cops, and then, oh no, Karen died.
Best moment in the film.
Ooh, you told me that evil dies tonight, and that guy doesn't count. This movie feels like what it is. Strictly a bridge film between what they really want to do in the previous and what they really want to do in the next.
Hopefully.
Halloween Kills gets a lot of hate, and it's in a way where I can't disagree, because the flaws are right there, crystal clear. But I don't hate the film, and I don't think it's worse than 6 or Resurrection. And at the end of the day, I'm
Agree to
not bored
disagree.
by it. It has flaws that are kind of fun to talk about and make jokes about, and it delivers on the title in that there are some great kills in it, and Michael is legit scary in some scenes. There's plot points that could be great if written a lot better and without so many holes and speechifying and flashbacks and talking non-stop about events of the other movies. It's also a tonal
Completely
mess, and
agree.
sometimes I can't tell if it's a comedy. I would call it mediocre, but its craziness does stand out, I'll give it that. But if you hate the movie, I get it.
I just can't hate it. They mention Ben Tramer. I can't get mad.
Naturally, I had to review it, since it's a Halloween movie. Just like we got a new Hellraiser movie coming out, which I'll also have to review. So stay tuned next week for Hellraiser 2022.
And the Lady Pinhead. The gay couple were such a weird addition. Their subplot just didn't make a ton of sense. They were just bizarre in how they acted, and I don't know, the whole scene just kind of dripped with the idea of virtue signaling checklist. And I respect that Brad gave respect to anybody who doesn't like it, and yeah, if he enjoyed it, good for him. I can understand his reasoning. It is a very brutal film. I can't find as much fun in the cliches that he mentioned, but I'd agree. Michael is very fucking brutal in these new movies. In the last one, particularly when he snapped that little kid in the car. And there are a lot of good deaths, but when I first saw this in the cinema, I had a hard time appreciating it, just because the whole rest of the film, with the dumb mob, the really retarded characters, the unfocused plot lines and tone, it was just a bit much. But yeah, the fireman killing scene was fucking awesome. And the Ben Tramer stuff, I've never really had a big issue with that. It doesn't really mean much for me. But I get it's a running gag Brad's been doing for the past 8-ish years, I believe. And Jamie Lee Curtis, she's my favorite actress. I fucking love her, but she was so wasted in this. In fact, almost all the original cast members they brought back were wasted. Kyle Richards, she has potential to be good, but they have to use her better than they did here, hopefully in the next one. Charles Cyphers, it's just seeing him in his old state was pretty sad, and Nancy Stevens as Nurse Marion, I honestly think, as I've said before, her death in H2O was more dignified than what they did with her here. And Anthony Michael Hall, even though he's not from the original, I like him, but he really needs to pick some better roles, and I think he honestly deserves better than what they had him do here, which was just be a raving shit-brained loon. Judy Greer, she's a good actress, but the Karen character is horrible, and they don't give her anything good to do. And that scene where she taunts Michael with the mask, that was just as embarrassing as the ending of It Chapter 2, where all the loser club members killed Pennywise by bullying him with taunts. And I will say, Karen's death was the best part, because as much as I love Halloween 2018, I fucking despise the character of Karen. So seeing her die was satisfactory, and I'm a little nervous they might bring her back in some way, but according to what I've read, she's not coming back in Halloween Ends. Although we didn't think Will Patton would come back after he got stabbed in the neck in the first one, so who knows what the fuck they're gonna do. But I enjoyed this review. He was fair. He pointed out the bad parts. He made a case for why he enjoys it, and while I don't agree, I can respect it, and it's nice that he can, again, respect the viewpoints of those who didn't enjoy it. Yeah, just very long, just all over the place, and I am hoping that Halloween Ends is a slight step up above Halloween Kills. I mean, I know he keeps saying that Halloween Resurrection is the worst fucking one, but, and yes, it is a fucking bad movie, but Halloween Resurrection, I can kind of enjoy it on a so bad it's funny type of level. I mean, it's a dumpster fire, but I can laugh at how fucking retarded it is. Halloween Kills, it made me so angry that I don't think I want to rewatch it even for poking fun at it. And the nicest thing I can say about it is it ain't Rob Zombie's Halloween, which was a fucking stab to the heart of any Halloween fan.
That's all that fucker does is crying shit. Crying shit. Fuck you and sit it on my pole right now, bitch.
Hope you enjoyed the Cinema Snob's review, and hopefully this reaction was somewhat enjoyable. It's very late, and I'm a little tired. I've been pretty busy working on a whole bunch of shit lately. So, sorry if I don't seem the most energetic at times, or maybe a little drifting. And, I will see you again soon. This month ain't even close to being over, and I got a lot more reactions coming.